What's up guys, Sam Adams here, and today we're going to be talking on the topic of Reddit. But first, on the topic of is a series every single Friday on my channel where I choose a topic that's been in the video game news spotlight, or technology spotlight in this case, in the past week, and I give my thoughts and opinions on and keep you guys informed as to what's going on. And this week we're going to be talking about Reddit, and I want to make this applicable for the future, not just for what's going on right now, so I'm going to kind of give a background as to what Reddit is if you aren't familiar with it, and then go into the controversy that's been facing it in the past couple of days, especially the last 24 hours as the news has kind of exploded. You might have even heard about it, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So pretty much Reddit is, as it is described in many descriptions, the front page of the internet. If you want to see what is on the forefront of a lot of people that have access to the internet's minds, you would go to Reddit. There's this thing that is called a subreddit. I'm going to try and explain how Reddit works. You have Reddit as a website as a whole, and then various subreddits that vary depending on the interest of the group that's included in the subreddit, subjects that are talked about in the subreddit. For instance, there is a subreddit called Ask Reddit, where people can come and ask the community whatever questions that they might have, whether it be serious, whether it be funny, whether it be a poll. You can just come and ask questions. There is r/gaming, which is a subreddit for the gaming community to come and talk about their gaming experiences, share funny GIFs and photos and videos and things like that. There's r/videos, where you can share funny videos or cute videos, whatever you find. The entire Reddit.com is littered with thousands upon thousands of subreddits, and that's one of the things that makes Reddit really cool, is that there are all of these different communities, and no matter what your interest is, no matter what your passion is, you can go and find a community that will embrace you, that has the same interest as you, and that kind of gives you a fellowship with people that are into the same kind of stuff as you. It's even cooler when you get an account, because it's pretty much like wiping away your skin color, wiping away your religious affiliation, wiping away whatever past you may have, and giving you a fresh face on the internet, pretty much just a voice in the dark to be able to say whatever you want and develop your own kind of reputation on Reddit.com based on what you say and what subreddits you post in. And like I said, it's just a clean slate. No matter what you've done in real life, you have a new face, a new name on Reddit.com, and that is up to you to keep. Obviously, you can tell people what your Reddit name is. You can tell people where you can find me on Reddit, things like that. You can really publicly display your name and get a lot of karma, a lot of followers on Reddit and stuff like that. But for me personally, I just like to keep it anonymous so that I can go in and comment on whatever I want and just, have a good time and enjoy myself, not necessarily as a YouTuber, not necessarily as a Twitch streamer or as a college kid or as Samuel Adams, nerd with a camera, but just as someone who can go in and talk freely without the fear of being judged. And that's what I think makes Reddit really, really cool. If you have never checked out Reddit.com, go over there, check it out. It takes a lot of getting used to, but it's really a pretty cool experience whenever you actually understand how to use it. So now moving on to the topic at hand, which is pretty much the fact that u/Tudor, otherwise known as Victoria, in the Reddit employee community, has been fired from Reddit because of an AMA with Jesse Jackson. So two things here. First off, if you're not aware, an AMA is an Ask Me Anything, where pretty much the Reddit community chooses a person they would like to have an interview with, chooses a person that they would like to know more about or ask some questions of, and then this person by the name of u/Tudor would try and contact these people, try and get them on board with doing an Ask Me Anything, pretty much just a giant Q&A from the internet to a specific person, and then she would moderate the conversation between the famous person and the community itself so that it would all go pretty smoothly. And because of the recent one with Jesse Jackson, presumably she was fired. It's totally understandable because that AMA was a complete and total disaster. Basically, Jesse Jackson is this southern black preacher who is very vocal when it comes to civil rights. And of course, if you aren't from America, or maybe you just haven't watched the news or went outside or stood next to somebody in the supermarket, you might not know that the black and racial tension in general in America is very, very high. People of the same race are very against each other. People of different races are very awkward and against each other. And in general, it's just a bad time to live in America and be into that kind of topic. That is my opinion entirely. That's just what I think. Don't kill me in the comments below, but it's just not a good, peaceful time here in the United States. And so with that, people asked Jesse Jackson, who is a pretty large religious figure, pretty he's a figurehead when it comes to this kind of thing to do an AMA. And so he did this, and a lot of people ask him very derogatory questions, very one-sided questions, and questions that led him into a hole that he then had to try and dig himself out of. And he did not do that gracefully, let me just tell you. Pretty much whenever he was asked a difficult question, something that just simply could not have a good answer, something that would not make people happy, he either dodged the question, I guess maybe played stupid. It did not end well for him. Sometimes the answers he would give would not be even remotely relevant to the question that was asked, and that just kind of led people to give up on the AMA, and it was probably the worst one I've ever seen, like, for the person. His reputation on the internet was very, very harmed by this, and so I guess the guys over at Reddit decided to let u/Tudor, otherwise known as Victoria, go, and this is why 75 to 90% of the subreddits on Reddit are down right now, because that made a huge wave in the community that knocked out a lot of people and made mods extremely mad. Now this made mods mad because they aren't the most represented portion of Reddit.com in general or at all. The mods are pretty much those that go around and do the grunt work. They are volunteers, they have a passion for what they do, and they aren't on the payroll over at Reddit.com at all. And they would go through u/Tudor or Victoria, and she would get them and their opinions to the head guys of Reddit. She would pretty much just moderate for them and try and get the changes they wanted implemented on Reddit done, and done in the best way possible. And so now that she's gone, the moderators, the guys that really do all the grunt work, the people that are really behind Reddit, don't have any direct access to the people in power, and that is not a good thing whenever you have a giant website that gets billions of page views monthly, run by all these little small people that don't get paid. They don't have a voice. It's not going to end well whenever you're trying to run the company. Pretty much the way it works is that you've got the admins, you've got the people that kind of are third parties, kind of translators for the admins, and the mods, which are down below. They kind of do all the grunt work. They are volunteers. They are passionate about what they do. And so now that u/Tudor, which is one of the major mods over at Reddit, is gone, there is this giant gap between the admins and the moderators, so that nothing really gets done anymore, and it's very unclear as to how AMAs are going to even exist. There is a guy stepping in that's going to try and fill that hole, and they've got a whole team working to do the work that Victoria would normally do, but it's still going to be a very transitional and difficult time for Reddit in general and the Reddit community as a whole. So with that giant gap, the mods are like, we have no representation, we have no voice anymore, we have no opinions as to how Reddit is being run or the changes that we want. We have no way to get them to the top, and so in protest, they're setting all of their subreddits to private, which means that no one can visit them unless they're on a specific list that is designed by the moderators of that subreddit, and that is why pretty much Reddit is down. This all just goes to show that Reddit is still in a very transitional stage, even 10 years into its life cycle. Last week was the 10th anniversary of Reddit, and there was a lot of celebration going on. There were some good vibes, you know, everybody was really happy, but things like the Jesse Jackson AMA, things like the discourse and the disagreement between the community and the Reddit admins as a whole are two examples of how Reddit just is still very young. It still doesn't really know how to handle itself. As Reddit has exploded in popularity, the community has just exploded with diversity in every sense of the word. You've got people of all different races, all different creeds, all different religious affiliations. Pretty much if you want to find a specific kind of person, you can find somebody that has that specific trait. Reddit is a huge community full of different kinds of people, and I'm proud to be in a community like that, but whenever you have all these different opinions and worldviews, it can get a little bit messy sometimes. Going forward, some changes are going to have to be made, but there is one that I have to go ahead and push really, really hard, something that I believe really strongly in, and that is the free speech on Reddit and in the world in general. Free speech is one of the only things that we still have that hasn't been taken by someone in some way, shape, or form. For the most part, it has been taken some here and some there, but on Reddit, it's one of the few places in the world where I feel like I can go and express my opinion freely. Yes, I may be judged by people with different opinions. Yes, I may be called down by someone with a different opinion, but I still have the right to post it there. And going forward, that's the kind of thing that Reddit needs to go for, in my opinion. They don't need to moderate what people say. They don't need to really clamp down on how people say it or the opinions that they put out on the internet. They just need to be sure that the right things are getting to the top and the rest of it is just falling down to where the people that are looking for that stuff that's fallen down can still find it. There has to be a free and open internet. That is something that a lot of people have been pushing. That's something that's been thrown around a lot in the past year, and I might be using it in a little bit of a different way than it normally would be used, but it's still very, very applicable. A lot of people are saying this might be the death of Reddit, but I completely and totally disagree. Reddit is not going anywhere. It's one of the websites on the internet that is just as big, it's just as much of a Goliath as Google itself is, in my opinion, if not more. It's pretty much where the internet goes to communicate. It is the modern chat room. It is, by all means, the front page of the internet, and I know that it's not going anywhere, but over the course of the next few weeks, over the course of the next few months, and over the course of the next decade, expect a lot of changes on Reddit, a lot of turbulence on Reddit, and a lot of changes in the world in general. Just as we're seeing in real life, we're going to be seeing the same kind of thing when it comes to Reddit, and that's just something that we're all going to have to accept. So there you guys have it. If you've enjoyed this video, drop me a like down below and comment what you think about this entire Reddit debacle. Do you agree with the fact that Victoria got fired? How do you feel about the entire situation over on Reddit? Or if you've never even been on Reddit, let me know what you think down below after you go and visit the website. And of course, if you want to share this video, I would be ever so grateful. Help get my channel out there to the world. That's the coolest thing you can do. And there are a ton of other videos over on my channel if you want to check out some of my gaming discussions, gaming content, that kind of thing. New videos 4 or 5 days a week. There's always something new to watch when you come by and drop here to watch some videos on the channel. And as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video. Here's hoping that Reddit gets fixed soon, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.